Are we on?
Welcome to the meeting. Before we start, can we have a minute's silence, please, for Janet Moore? Thank you.
Madam Chairman, Janet's served twice on the council. Some people might only know her once, but she served 2 terms. She was keen that her health just got better.
I know. Sadly, the last time I saw her, she was actually looking much better.
Yes.
So accept apologies for absence.
Keith Prince, who's working, and John Saunders.
And John.
And John is on holiday.
John's on holiday, okay, so yeah,
Still.
To note declaration of members' personal, prejudicial and disclosable pecuniary interests in respect of items on the agenda. Tina?
I'm on the finance.
Sorry?
I'm on the finance.
On payments.
Oh, yeah, sorry, is that
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm on the payments. On the finance.
Yeah, fine. Beryl?
I think I could be on the payments as well.
Okay. Sam?
Yeah, organisation we represent is on the finance, is on payments.
That same. Okay. To confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 12th of January 2019 are a true and accurate record. Tina?
Can I just ask before we vote on this, number 13 of the minutes, I understand this particular part was discussed below the line, meeting of the Youth Advisory Board at Brecon Council, and it was decided to write to Sam Chapman to cancel what had been offered as a meeting between the YAB and Town Council. I just want to know why.
I'm not aware that it was cancelled.
Well, it was resolved to respond to Mr. Chapman to thank him for his interest in matters relating to the area and request that any relevant information is shared with the Town Council. I obviously wasn't there at that bit, because that bit was done below the line. So I'm just asking if you could clarify for me what the decision actually was.
I'll pass that to Catherine, because you can explain it better than me.
I think the decision was taken, and not because we don't want to meet again. If they have problems, we'd really like to meet them and talk to them about it. But we were unsure why Mr. Chapman Allen was offering the meeting, rather than telling us what the issues were, so we could convene the meeting.
I could answer that if you would allow.
Yeah.
The YAB actually asked, they've been up to give a presentation to Brecon Council, and the Brecon Council was so impressed with the youth there, that while they were there, they'd actually asked the leader if he would facilitate a meeting there, because they felt that they were not getting an open door, if you like, to Town Council here, and they wanted to air any views or discrepancies or and just get it out in the open as to what the problems might be, and Sam offered to chair that, and I think by us not going, it's just going to compound the problems that the YAB feel, and they can offer so much more, and apparently they have been trying to contact Town Council on numerous occasions to facilitate a meeting with us here.
That surprises me.
Well, I have seen emails that she sent, and she's left messages on the answer phone. So that I can only say, see as I find, speak as I find.
Okay, Catherine?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we were very surprised to have that type of letter from a district council, because this is a Watton Town Council matter. And whereas we welcome the fact that we had an interest in bringing this to our attention, that's fine. The actual convening of a meeting and you know, discussing issues with the app is really within the remit of the town council. And that's what the issue was about, not whether we want to meet Yab or not. I am surprised to hear about the contacts that Yab's been trying to make, because as far as we're concerned, there's been very little contact with Yab since May, I believe.
I think I'd just like to come back on that. The last contact, I think, personally, that I know of is when there was a meeting held here, and I think that was when I was on holiday in September. Or was that the year before even, or March?
No,
I was away.
it was a few months ago, apparently.
I think
I wasn't at that meeting, but it was discussed. I think Jane and Pat did say at the time that they would facilitate a meeting with the app, and they've heard nothing since. And I think we must be mindful that we're talking to the youth, and it is youth-led. So they are going to hear from a grown-up that there is a meeting to be scheduled, and they are going to expect that and not understand the complexities of adult
Can I just be clear that
politics and stuff.
we didn't turn down? I mean,
No,
we
but
they're
They are still waiting.
And can I also say that Sam Chapman has rang the town councillors last week in response to the email sent to him. He did indicate he was getting another meeting together with district councillors, North County councillors of the area, and I did say, could he invite Watton Town councillors to that meeting? I'm not sure if he would or not. I didn't really get a response either way on that. So I can understand why he would want to come here if he was holding a meeting for people and we could attend that.
Is that something that council
Jane?
might need to chase up?
He did say he'd email me, Tina, but I haven't heard any more.
Jane?
Just wanted to say it was put below the line because names were involved, and we didn't think it appropriate for that to be out in the public domain. It was discussed at great depth, and all the attempts that we have made to contact the YAB were put before the council. And the council have not, and YAB have not responded to any of our approaches. So that was why the decision was made.
Can this be limited so that the young can respond?
But we did make it clear that should Yab want a meeting with us, we're very happy to meet with them. And it's very proper
we've
we should
said
do
that all
as
along.
town councillors.
Sam?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is another example of where communication deficit is causing problems, and because of the lack of communication, people could end up alienating other people. I'm not necessarily saying a councillor at fault at this stage or any individual. However, all parties always need to be mindful to keep the communication clear and concise so that the other party know what's expected of them, because otherwise there will be ill feeling unnecessarily and time's going to get wasted smoothing out the linen, just trying to get people to understand that there's no offence been made, there's been misunderstanding or lack of communication. So perhaps in addition to anything we're doing, when we find ourselves in that position again, we should also perhaps throw back why. What is the purpose? Can you give us more information? And equally, if we're going to ensure that we maintain those standards, we've got to expect them from the people we're dealing with, and if they don't deliver, we need to ask them. Thank you.
To confirm that the minutes of the meeting on the 12th of November 2019 are a true and accurate record.
On the proposed, please.
All those in favour? Thank you. To receive updates on matters arising from the minutes of the meeting held on the 12th of November, not already on the agenda.
I think what I did put in your report, I did get back to Norfolk County Council regarding the junction, that was in your pack. And as you can see, we've got a hand-drawn map to show that the junction they were proposing or are proposing on Norwich Road, where they were going to put in the cycle track. It's not a Portal Avenue junction, it is a new junction. So I said that I just passed the comments that were made to them anyway, but I thought that was of interest. We are still awaiting a report on the clock tower ladder, although the ladder, as it is, has not been condemned. I think there's not too much else to say that isn't in the pack. Okay, no, if anyone's got anything to ask, I think we've got anything else to update specifically.
Okay, to receive reports, chairman's report. I haven't got very much this time. I think some of you know that I've had a problem with my eyes, so I'll try to cut down on as much as possible. I went to the finance meeting on the 15th, and the same day I went to the Mayor of Attleborough's civic reception. The neighbourhood plan meeting on the 19th, and on Sunday we had a festive market. Today I went to a meeting in Bordswell, found out where it is now, with the Norfolk ALC about buses and electric charging points, etc. I won't do it, well, I haven't actually done a report on yet. I'll let you know that at the next meeting. And that's me done. Vice Chairman's report.
Okay, on the 13th of November, I attended an out course in Norwich. That was regarding the challenges facing the voluntary sector these days. That was quite interesting that they're saying the trend now seems to be people wanting to physically volunteer rather than handing cash to organisations, which was quite interesting. On the 18th of November, I chaired a neighbourhood plan meeting. On the 24th in the afternoon, I was on the Town Council stall at the festive market.
Thank you. County Councillor's report. Have we got
No, I've not had anything.
District Councillor's report.
Okay. I'm currently working with the licensing team on their taxi policy, for obvious reasons. I was at Brecon yesterday to voice my objections to the Gladman's development on Thetford Road. I was surprised, I have to say, apart from Keith, who's actually on planning, that there was nobody from Watton there, which, contrary to what you hear on Facebook and the Watton Community Notice Board, I thought there would have been a few more people there. There was nobody.
Is this the Thetford Road?
Gladman's, yeah. And yesterday was White Ribbon Day, and the flag was raised in support of domestic violence awareness charities. It was well supported. The local plan is on the agenda for this week, and I'm sure the outcome and details will be assessed before the end of the week. And finally, I'd like to at this point to personally congratulate Beryl and Sue Dent for organising a great festive market. I loved the live nativity, and well done to all those that helped. And I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance this year, but I guess you'll know why. That's all from me.
I think I just,
Sorry.
just about the governance meeting, one of the reasons that there wasn't a representation from the residents is because of the nature of that particular application, which was really about the technical details to do with the incorrect placing of the red line in the original plan, I understand. Yeah. So it was a rejoining of the top end of the map, which had been incorrectly drawn. So it's a correction, that's why there wasn't more of a presence.
Keith?
Yeah, thank you, yeah. Today, Tina was there as well, we had a briefing on the local plan, which is due for, hopefully, to be adopted on Thursday. So it means now we have, we'll have a solid local plan in place. How strong the government will allow it to be is another matter. It's on the council's agenda for Thursday. We have basically just put the one item there to adopt the local plan. The agenda for it is 601 pages long. So as you can imagine, we've all read every single word of it.
Of course.
Yeah, we had a briefing today about it. But one thing that came out today is as soon as it's adopted, we'll then have to start a review. Because there's some of the things which the inspectors put in place, major modifications, which although we can adopt the plan, will then need to be looked at again, and one or two issues there. and I believe it's now on the website. But one thing will happen, once the plan is adopted, we will be able to show that we have a 5-year land supply. Indeed. And the other thing was, yes, on yesterday, the planning committee, Gladman application came along again. It's interesting that it was in Gladman's name, and as Catherine said, it was mainly to do with the fact that the red line, which is the application site, wasn't quite right. But the other thing was that they have now removed the height restriction for properties on the northern boundary. So we wait to see what might come forward on that. I actually voted against the application on those grounds and I've argued that on the northern boundary there should be bungalows adjacent to Cannons Close, and then if there were 2-storey dwellings or 1.5-storey dwellings, they can be the opposite side of the road. I can't see a problem with that, but we will have to wait and see whether a developer comes forward and actually.
I was just going to say that, do we know who might be doing it now?
I have had a meeting along with Claire, with Barrett's. We await to see whether they will progress it or not.
Okay.
I can say no more than that.
Sorry, can I just ask, if this means we now have 5-year land supply, what's the situation with large developments that have not yet been approved?
That's really up in the air at the moment. My personal opinion is now, if we can show a 5-year land supply, then large applications outside the resettlement boundary should be refused. That's my opinion, but it gets very, very technical, because at the moment, Breckland are actually building more than they have to build. Yeah, over the last few years, we've been building in excess of the requirement. But this 5-year land supply, it also ties up with whether actually anything has been built. It's hugely technical. And I think we just have to wait and see. But hopefully we'll be in a stronger position to resist unwanted and unsustainable development outside Southern boundaries. I hope.
Thank you. Police report. I have seen some reports coming through. Anything?
No, I think we just have the newsletter. Actually, everyone at last meeting, and there's been a few sort of emails and what
I
going forward.
saw a few things.
Yes, I sent that through today, this morning.
Keith?
Yeah, that's on that. They are posting regularly on social media. It's very good to see that cars without insurance and MOTs and everything else are being seized. I did see that one person has had 2 cars seized, and also cycling on pavements is
Yeah,
another.
lights on
they've been-
cyclists.
Yeah, they have been clamping down on. And also saw that one person was seen driving erratically along Merton Road, and according to the police, the man was arrested on Jubilee Road and will be appearing in Norwich Magistrates Court.
Can I point out, he was actually arrested within 5 minutes of
Yeah.
all being made.
Yeah,
So I think a huge congratulations to Ed and Austin
Yeah.
and also
It was,
General Arms.
yeah,
That was for drink driving.
yes, yeah.
Definitely one of them, because I did start back driving till today. Clerk's report.
Again, everything's in your packs, just, there's a piece of paper going around, you can put dates on there when you might go to the recycling centre, that was emailed come around about that. I will book dates, if you let me know. Sue's asked if you would like an events feedback meeting, related to the festive market. I think we said that will be put in before the December meeting, if people are happy with that. The other thing, the electricity and the problems we were having with the board tripping out, I think the museum was suffering more than us, to be honest. We seem to think it's because we have a lot of there's about 7 in here. The sockets don't have switches, they just have an RCD trip on them. So when you pull the plug out, it's tripping the board as well. So Ross, we can have them fixed for £10 a socket, and I have said please go ahead with that because we don't want to keep tripping out. So that's just to let you know about that one.
Why is it suddenly started happening?
Because we've got new boards, we've
Oh,
had
right.
circuit testing done, we have new boards put in,
And they're more
so they're much
sensitive.
more sensitive.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, so that's all part of that. And going back to the local plan, it might be worth having a look at what's known as the Sedgefield method. I don't know if that means anything to you, Keith.
Yeah, there are only 2 methods of calculating 5-year land supply. One is Sedgefield method, and I can't remember what the other one is. And of course, they come up with different answers. The government preferred the Sedgefield one, Brecon were originally working to the other one. But now I think everybody has to work to this Sedgefield method. And,
That's a recommendation from the inspector, wasn't it?
yeah, as long as we can show a 5-year land supply, that's what matters.
So receive update on what town council's work in progress list. I'm not sure colour, but I'm assuming that the kind of staircase, isn't it?
Yes, we can make that out, and that's, we have updated it, and if there's any questions on it, please ask.
On the working group to consider the future of the gazebos, I suppose we need to set a date for that because otherwise it will just roll on and on.
That would be helpful.
Has anyone do we need to, or should we do that before Christmas? Week commencing the 2nd of December, most of that week would suit me. If anyone else can make that. Stan, Keith, John, me. I don't know, it's not me. For the market gazebos, we want to get a working group together.
Yeah, sorry, what date did you say?
Week commencing the 2nd of December.
Yeah.
Pat,
Yes.
just going to say, I know Don's on that.
Yeah.
And he just had problems. I don't know, James, are you aware of this sort of commitments, Jane?
I don't know what times it can make or not make, no.
I've got quite a bit of
So you've got quite a bit on.
no, quite a bit of availability.
Yeah, so I have, that's why I was kind of, like Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, well, not 11 o'clock-ish on Monday, but other than that,
Yeah, preferably nothing before 10 a.m.
oh no, I've got a meeting at 11, I can't do anything before that.
Any day before
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, me too. How about Tuesday, the 3rd of December? I mean, obviously you can check with Don or update him afterwards on anything that was, sorry, did you say you could do the 3rd?
Can't do what we're going to do Thursday and Friday that week.
It's during the day I can, on Thursday or Friday, but, or would you prefer to leave it until after Christmas? I'm not getting an awful lot of response. So.
I think one of the reasons that the group was to meet is because we have this question over what will be our attitude to using the gazebos in the light of the fact that it's possible that Scotland may be reducing their use of them.
Well, they have already said that they're
So it's about the group talking about how they would advise the council to go forward on that. So I think the council will need that advice sooner rather than later.
And we do need to say whether we're going to continue offering this free after Christmas. We've agreed to free use until Christmas. But we need that decision made as well.
As soon as we can.
Okay, so who can do, did you say you can only do Thursday?
Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, how about Thursday the 5th? Can everyone make it during the day?
Thursday,
5th of December.
yeah, that's okay with me.
Stan?
Yeah, after 10 a.m.
Okay, so how about we make it Thursday at 11 o'clock?
Can I also say we ought to be looking at the cemetery working group meeting and the Charlotte Harvey Trust meeting?
If anyone wants to do it on the same day following on that, I don't mind.
Don't you on the same day?
Yeah,
Yeah,
What time do you have that, 12?
say 12?
yeah.
And Charlotte Harvey?
Don't push it, Jane.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
what she
important, that way we do
Yeah.
it at the least.
Can we do the show on it before the next meeting?
So that's, and can we do that on the, it's not going to be a long meeting anyway, can we do that on the same day?
Sorry, what?
Following on this Charlotte Harvey?
What would be quorum?
Well, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'd say yes, sir.
Pete, can you do that? 5, yeah, I think that's enough.
So what time are we doing?
1 o'clock?
Do you know, sorry, Chair. If the cemetery working group's going to be at 11. Yeah.
12.
Oh, sorry,
12,
12. It doesn't need an hour.
Well, we'll carry on with the Charlotte Harvey straight after.
Yeah, as long as people understand, I mean, the point is, anybody can come to the cemetery working group, I mean, it's not a cemetery committee. So, if I'm,
12:30.
if all we're going to do is discuss stones, or getting stone, or something like that, very long.
Which there are samples here, if people do want to look, if you can't make the meeting, perhaps feed in.
I was looking to eat this.
I thought they were nuts.
No,
I thought they were not, you have to make it.
Wrong colour.
And they've got a lot of meat.
Well, these dark chocolate ones.
Yeah. Yes, 10.
Look, there's some honey stuff.
Yeah. Okay, are we all okay with that? Yes, sorry,
Are
Tina.
we still talking about the work in progress list?
Yes, yeah.
Can I suggest we on the back page, look at the exam and possibilities to provide facilities for young people? I know I keep banging on about it now. But is it possible that we try to use that half smiley face there to actually bring this bit in off the ground? Because that, it was them that gave us the quote for the skate park, and have done this many, many times all over the place. The skate parking, the temporary skate park.
Oh, the temporary state, yeah, yeah.
They have facilitated that in lots of places, and are at the moment in talks with
Sorry.
Glen Allen about it.
Hold on a sec, I'm a bit confused now. Who has facilitated, have facilitated a temporary?
Not here, but in other places. Yeah, they work over Norfolk and South.
We've
So, yeah,
already,
they facilitated it before, so they're sort of familiar with this sort of thing. So it's just, it would be something that would be easier for them to look up at and bring to fruition, rather than us floundering around in the dark, using the experts.
okay, Peter?
Well, we commissioned Sue
Yeah,
to do that. And we got the names of the various companies, I think, that the applicants before. So I would suggest that we ask Sue to have a chat with them, as part of the process of getting everything ready.
yeah, I'm happy with that.
Because we're not doing it, Sue's doing it.
We're just paying for it.
Yes.
Does that answer your question, Tina?
Yeah.
Finance. To approve payments for November 2019.
Yes, it's in a different format, so
Yeah.
whether that makes it any clearer, but we have listed direct debit payments, which are quite standard, and then the back payments followed by the cheque payments. There's actually quite a lot of this time, this is fair copies of the development together. Perhaps it's just yourself and Sue, I should think,
Stan,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could I just ask a general question? On here, it shows a, contribution, donation charge or whatever for Stephen Kemp the Bugler. Could I ask who set that fee or how that fee was set at £15?
I don't actually know.
I think that's what we asked, yeah.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. It's just I know how far he travels and that doesn't even cover his fuel. So, thank you.
Tina,
Thank you, Chair. I just want to ask about the Norfolk Lowland search, £500, it seems a very hefty amount of donation. Was there a reason why that's so much?
Lowland.
Lowland, I've got here Lowland.
Yeah, I think that's Lowland.
Lowland, yeah.
Madam Chair, do you want me to respond to that?
Yes,
then?
please.
Yeah, the question that I asked last time, saying I know you want to leave, the situation was the Norfolk Lowland Search Rescue, each time they supported us at fireworks, brought paramedics, doctors, as well as first aiders. And the contribution was a guideline, or set by a guideline with the first year when St John's Ambulance Limited charged us over £500 for their attendance. And it was agreed both by the fireworks working group and the council then that £500 was an appropriate amount.
I didn't realise we were having paramedics.
Yeah, paramedics and doctors on Zoom.
I might have got a point that pushed it back on.
Fallen down in front.
Madam Chair.
I propose that we accept the approved payments.
All those in favour?
Hang on.
Sue, did you have a...
Yeah, Stan said about Steve Kemp Bugler,
Mhm.
and I've actually got it written down twice.
No, it's you.
The different names.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yes, there's one on the.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you, I was looking through it myself.
You made a proposal.
Have a sausage roll, Stan.
Making me, gonna keep quiet. We voted.
Tonight's draft finance committee meetings from the meeting held on the 15th of November and consider recommendations made. Watton Town Council will supply a water connection to the Thetford Road allotments pending approval from the landowner. Is that leading? Sorry.
My only concern on that is if Mary Jane wants that line back at any time, you know, we don't renew our lease then.
We are asking her first, and if she did, then we'd just pack it off, presumably.
It would be advantageous to the landowner to have water on there. I think that is something to think of. And that figure only takes us to the boundary. Please remember that. We then have to get water somewhere onto the site, so there will be additional cost to that.
Keith, then Peter.
Can I ask, is this actually mains water or is it a well?
Mains
water.
Peter?
So we've got to be very careful how it's used.
Well, I think one of the things we said is that when we went on our tour around, the number of people using plastic barrels, etc., and then dumping them everywhere, not necessarily stop them. But if we have water in, we can then decide how it's going to be allocated out from there, because when I've either got standby up, depends where it goes, and have it metered, because I would suggest we did have it metered, and whether you then have a lockable cupboard or something that allotment holders have the key to, and they've got code in, there's different ways of dealing with it, but I think the thing is, well, most allotments have water, and not having water means people are driving there with containers, don't always take them home, and then they're left with rubbish everywhere, so I think we're doing our bit for the environment.
I should have read the next paragraph with it. If the quote of £1,069.80 received from Anglian Water to provide a water supply is accepted, a plan will be put together for water usage by allotment holders,
Yeah.
which goes on to what you just said. Keith?
Yeah, have we looked at the possibility of a borehole? Because when we did the one many years ago at the current cemetery, we did sink a borehole. And it was pumped up from underground. And
I'm not
it's
sure
not
I
mains
want
water.
water pumped up from underground in the cemetery.
It's not mains water.
No,
It's not mains water, that's why it's cemetery.
No.
Have we looked into that possibility?
I haven't, that's as far as I've got, just contacting Anglian
Yeah, I
Water.
think it's something we should look at. Because if you're pumping water up from underground, you're not paying Anglian Water for this beautiful, pristine, clear drinking water. And it is, after all, to be used on the allotments.
Tina?
Yes, well, obvious on what Keith was just saying, I'm sure everybody knows, even with the rain on the cemetery, the rain will pull the water down to the ground, and whatever the water is traveling, of course, all around, every single one has its fairy tale, grabbing water for underground. I don't think it's the best idea, pumping it out to, because you'll never know if you're going to drink it or not, do you? It could be a healthy issue. It could be a healthy issue down there.
Okay, yes.
Land of the representative. I'm beginning to believe from one of the former mayors who lives on other allotments that I was talking to casually, that the catchment area for the church allotments is a private catchment. And so therefore, is by grace of favour that they're not allowed to use the pond. So it may well be that there isn't a catchment area underneath the allotments on Thetford Road. You'd have to have a survey carried out first.
Okay.
Secondly, this decision's come a bit late for me. I've just bought a generator so that I can take my tank of water over in my trailer and pump it in.
Well, perhaps you could have a little sideline there. I didn't say that.
Or use the generator to work the drill to make the borehole.
I'll lend it to you for when the power goes down.
Stan?
Yeah, Madam Chair, on the question of should we put mains water in, I think we should. Peter touched on the environmental aspect, but if we have people who are trying to grow their own produce, whether it's to be environmentally conscious or because they can't afford to keep buying, by allowing the fact of water being present will allow them to have their crops and benefit from using the allotments, and perhaps it will encourage other people to take up any vacant allotments. And with regard to it getting wasted, all we need is one of those keep it held down while you use it taps, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, I mean, I assume we do intend to sort something out whereby, like, we're not, no one's going to be able to just leave the tap running and then we have to pay for it and things. But that side, do we have a proposal?
Sorry, could I just ask, who
Yes.
will be paying for water?
Sorry?
Who will be paying for water? If it's
Would
being
be-
used?
Yeah,
But
it
if
would
it's,
be
if it's
needed.
abused, presumably.
that's what we just said.
Something.
We would control it so that no one could just leave the tap running and for it to run over. Peter, then Catherine.
I was going to say, it's one of the things, Chair, we would look at next year, if it was in, one of the things we'd have to consider is whether we put the rent up for the allotments coverage. At the moment, that rent covers them for the allotment, but for no water. And often you find that, you know, the rents go up, but that's something to decide if the landowner will allow us to do that, and we'll have to take it from there. But it's a resolution come from finance. So does anybody have to propose it? Or?
I think we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Catherine?
Basically, the resolution really is in parts. One is to say, would we want to supply the water connection at that sort of cost? Two, that we accept that we have to get permission from the landowner. And three, if we do this, then we will put a plan in place for the usage. So that plan would cover all things like meterage, do the fees go up, how that's, you know, what rules we've got for people using the tap or whatever. So it's really staged, but the first bit really is, do we want to accept that quote?
If I might say, these are expensive lots already, compared with the local area. Shipping was £16 a year with water.
I don't know what the charges are at the moment.
They vary immensely, yeah, across the board.
So do we have a proposal
But the proposal is as it is on the,
for all of it?
yeah.
Seconder? Jane, all those in favour? What, sorry, Catherine?
No, I was just saying yes, I'm in favour.
Oh,
But if she says no, we can't do it.
Yeah, then it just got up and down. That would be the
Watton Town Council.
Can I just say,
Yep.
following on from that, if the landowner does say no, then we will have to come back to this issue because there's a public health issue, I think, rising now because of the way that some of the allotment holders are dealing with their plastic bottles and so on. So we'll have to come back to this anyway.
We would. Beryl?
Can I just quickly ask the gentleman, do you think that the allotment holders would be prepared to take any extra?
I don't think they would, because I've already canvassed them. When I spoke earlier, I spoke to Tina and asked her if she would look at it, I don't know, probably nearly a year ago now. And I went around and spoke to as many of the other holders as I could, and they're not really very happy about paying extra, because they all know what the rates are in the joining. And, you know, ours is quite expensive. No, there might be a reason for it. I mean, presumably there's a balance sheet for it. And we would go to see whether it matches out or not. But I don't think many of them would be very happy about it. I don't think they give up their allotment for about £5 extra, £3 extra.
Thank you.
The cost of the installation is a lot cheaper than it was stated last time. So, sorry?
No one will be forced to pay if they still want to bring their own water.
No, you can't.
Can we leave that? Thank you. Watton Town Council is to identify sites for a flagpole, preferably Town Council owned, and then seek a specialist contractor for guidance and costs. Catherine?
This came from the Finance Committee and it's an acceptance that we keep talking round and round and round about flagpoles. And now we're really, I suppose, delegating it to the office to now research into this, but actually to seek the advice from a contractor who will give us some guidance on the costings, because some of the sites we might look at might be on listed buildings, for example, and so the costs will be higher. So it's really about plugging this up again and saying, if we're serious, we need to move on it.
Tina?
Hasn't it always been on this? It's always been in our work in progress, this,
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's,
what I'm saying here is about getting the specialist advice, so we won't waste our time thinking, oh, I'll run it on that building, and then find out it can't.
we almost need a feasibility study, I think,
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
side
I mean,
going forward.
Just get it done.
So you're right, Tina, in that it's been on there forever, but this is about, let's be realistic about it, find out what you can and what you can't do.
Beryl,
I would say that's possible, even the clock tower, it's going to be.
that's exactly what I said at the finance meeting, but we need to make sure that it,
Christmas.
yeah. Okay, so are we all agreed on that?
Yeah.
Chair,
Yes,
can I just ask, we've been given this piece of paper here about the budget, is this, can we discuss this in this particular bit? Because I can see that.
Yes, it should, yeah. Really, it could have come up, got on the first bit to note draft finance committee minutes, and really it's from that thing, so we don't raise it like that.
Can I, please, Chair? It's saying here that an increase of 3%, or even 4%. I think this is going to be absolutely catastrophic in this town if we have another increase in our precept this year. Particularly as we have no big project. If we had a big project, then we could justify it by saying we were going to be doing this, that and that. And then could actually stand face to face with the public, but just by saying we are going to support our own £100,000 in the bank and add to it, which is basically what this could do.
a 3% interest, it's a very, very small amount per household.
It is a small amount, but it is still an increase, and we already currently have the highest precept of any market town in Bretland. And I think we don't have what other market towns have. So we can't justify it, and I think we would get a huge backlash. And I just want those comments noted, please, because I really do think the Finance Committee needs to look at that and try to rein in the spends to live accordingly, to not have an increase. If anything, we should be given a decrease and use some of the £100 that's in the pot.
Catherine?
Yeah, when we started the process, my view was that we shouldn't have an increase at all this year. But then we looked at issues like staffing. Now, staffing is always, within the public sector, when you're looking at budgets, staffing is always a significant part of your funding. And so, within the staffing, because pay increases starting to come through now, you have to look at putting aside about 3% for that, for the salary increase and then the employment payments in that as well. So we wanted to be sure we covered that. We also looked at, I'm getting lost here. Yeah, we also looked at the recommendation for the general reserve. And so we are within the limits, the allowances for a general reserve. We have to have that because if there was,
Yeah, I
do understand why we have to have a
I do
general reserve.
understand the general reserve. I just think that with staffing costs, if any one of us stood in front of a member of our residents' public and actually said it was to cover staffing costs, I think you'd have egg on your
I'm
face.
sorry, Tina.
It
but
really
that's
isn't
what-
acceptable.
Can I just finish? Because that isn't what I'm saying. There is no way that our budget is all about staffing costs. If you've actually looked at the figures that James put down here, it actually explains why, in the end, that we do need a slight increase. The actual increase for each residence is how much did we work it out to be, James?
If we do go for only a 3%, it's on the back there, and it would be no increase at all, actually, for a Band D property. Because of the tax base having risen, there would be actually no increase to the Band D charge. At the moment, it's 140.97, and it would be 140.97, strangely enough, in the current year, even with a 3% increase in precinct.
Then if that is the decision that this council takes, can it be made public that there is no change to the actual payment? Because there really will be a backlash, because people won't see that bit. They won't get past.
Why won't they see it?
People, when they see an increase, they just see the increase.
So,
I don't agree with you. Most people who are budget aware, they just look at the bottom line figure. This is what I paid last year, this is what I paid this year. I'm not going to look at percentages of this and this and this. It's what did I pay last year, what am I paying this year?
Peter,
Unfortunately, costs don't stay still, and things have to go up in price. Everybody's taxes, council taxes will go up this year anyway. Norfolk County councils will go up, Wrexham's will go up. That's right, unfortunately. Could the clerk tell me, how much did we increase it by last year?
It was quite a high
Yeah,
last
well,
year.
roughly what?
Yeah, I would say it was about 10%.
About 10%. How many complaints did we have?
No.
None. Okay. Answer solved, thank you.
Can I just finish what I was going to
Sorry,
say as
Catherine.
well? That, I mean, Jane's actually done quite a detailed thing here about the areas that we were looking at, which give rise to the increases. And we have to accept that some of our stock, for example, the litter bins, a litter bin doesn't sound very significant. You're talking about replacing a number of litter bins, and you're talking about £12,000. So, you know, it builds up. Then we've just said about the water connection at the Thetford Road allotments. There's a service level agreement with Swaffham Town Council for our PEXO. There is an increase in that. We noticed that whereas for the Market Town Initiative we've been putting 6,000 aside a year, the actual amount should be £7,000 a year, so that's a correction. And all these things add up. And in actual fact, by holding it down to 3%, I think we did quite well in keeping our figures down. And that's with a reduction in the general reserve.
I think 3% is a very small.
Well, it does include a reduction in the general reserve as well. We will end up having a smaller general reserve than we have this year.
Can I just ask
Stan.
Finance Committee what? Sorry.
Yeah, Madam Chair, if councillors remember back to a couple of meetings ago when we had the gentleman from Brecon here about the street lamps, it often gets overlooked when people try to say, for example, the allotment should be the same price as Swaffham, Field or anywhere else, that people pay more in Watton than they do here, there or anywhere else. We are a smaller community, yet we're paying more money for our street lighting than anyone else, than any other market town in Brecon. We are paying more. We have the costs that Peter's already alluded to, with less money coming in. Swaffham has their paid staff. Is their number of paid staff commensurate to their amount of taxpayers compared to ours? These things have to be considered and remembered. You can't go across the board and say all market towns should have the same percentage coming in and going out. It doesn't work that way. It'd be nice if it did. Thank you.
Okay.
I would just like to see us have a project that we could actually justify for the £100,000 that we have in the SIF.
We haven't got £1,000.
We haven't.
It was 96 something. Yeah. So it's nearly £100,000 that we have in the Community Improvement Fund, and we're not improving our community yet. The first mention I've seen is £12,000 spent on bins. I'd like to see some of that money go to something significant that we can actually then justify that we are doing something, because we don't seem to be doing an awful lot.
Catherine.
Well, we do community projects, for example, fireworks, festive markets. We gave considerable donation to the sports centre. We've been asked to give donation to other local bodies as well. So that all comes into the mix. So I don't think we should just, with a sweep, say that this council isn't actually doing anything for the public. That's very dangerous.
Thank you. To note review of financial regulations.
This really is something we just have to tick the box and say we have looked at the financial regulations, the finance committee have done. We don't think there's any amendment needed at the present time, but we just need to minute that, because everybody's happy with that.
I propose that we accept.
Seconded.
All those in favour? Thank you. Stan?
Public participation.
I'm coming to that at the end of this. I've already been reminded that of this. I just wanted to see if anyone else would notice. To consider quote received for 3-year Christmas lights contract. Have you all had a look at that, Beryl?
I just think we have to And they envision it probably going to get on top of these prices, a lot of new lighting
I
required.
think that's inevitable.
And I think that could take us,
It has been suggested that all the old lights that remain will need replacing next year, or it would be probably cost effective to replace them. Given-
Is there a cost for that or?
Yeah, there would be.
I mean, I know there will be, but do we have any ballpark?
No, I haven't been given anything about that.
Catherine and
Just
Stan.
to say that in recognition that the Christmas lights may cost us next year, we have increased for next year that area of the budget.
Okay, Stan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had a conversation with the installer yesterday and again today, and he's asked me to respectfully remind councillors that part of the fairway and tear is taking them down and putting them up, and whenever there's a malfunction, he has to incur, or the council incurs, a call-out fee. And he's of the view that it's getting to the stage where the fair wear and tear on the old lights and call-out fees outweigh the expenditure for new lights that will be LED and much easier to maintain, install and put up and put down. He had hoped to put a note together tonight for presenting to council, but because of work, he didn't finish till late last night, wasn't able to do it. But he's assured me the note will be presented to the Finance Committee for Friday.
I was wondering whether there'd be any, whether it would be worth in purchasing lights nowish or just after Christmas when they'd be.
That's the intention.
Yeah.
That's the intention.
Okay, right, as I've been reminded twice, I missed out public participation
Vote on that or anything.
on the, oh yeah, do we have a proposal for the Christmas lights? We do. Seconder? All those in favour? Thank you. Right, public participation.
I'd like to bring one thing to your attention, and that is that the zebra crossing down by the chip shop.
Yeah.
Sorry, the far end.
Yeah.
Is not illuminated. And it is a safety hazard, I believe, because you've got traffic that's coming from out of town, past all the vehicles that are parked on the left-hand side. Anyone who's waiting to cross that road can't be seen by that traffic.
When you say illuminated, do you mean the light that comes down on it,
Yeah.
not the actual yellow
Not the beacon,
ones?
no. The beacons are there, so there's warning that there is a zebra crossing, but there is no safety illumination.
Is that
It isn't a requirement, but it is a health and safety issue, and if someone looks at it and says, hey, this is not really a safe place to cross, then it should be illuminated. And particularly because of the parked vehicles that are really in quite a close vicinity to it. The pedestrians have come down that slope to the level and then step out onto what is quite dark area.
Okay, thank you. Peter?
Can I propose that we make a formal request to Norfolk County Council Highways Department, they're being responsible for it, not us, that we ask them if they will consider putting illumination in on that.
I'm not pointing responsibility.
No, I'm fine. And that's why I think we ought to write to them and tell them. Otherwise, they won't do anything.
Okay, was there
Nothing has
anything
happened
else?
to the point I made, which was to do something about the traffic control, traffic flow and traffic lights, because it is still a very dangerous junction. The traffic
Could
coming from
you
Deal.
address the chair, please?
Sorry?
Could you address the
Sorry,
chair?
very a dangerous junction when traffic's coming from Durham to turn right at the traffic lights. They can't see whether the road is clear to turn or not. So therefore, you sit there and wait a long time when the road's clear.
From Durham turning into the high street?
Yes.
I do that on a regular basis and I kind of know what you mean, but I wait until it's clear.
Well, so do I. And I've seen an accident there. I've seen several near misses. But if there happens to be a truck coming from Thetford, you can't see beyond it. You can't pull out any further because you're in the lane of the oncoming traffic. So you sit and wait which is fine. But then when you do get a chance to go, you find that the traffic is already approaching you from the high street and sailing down.
No, because you can still see the traffic lights.
No, you can't.
Well, I can.
No, you can't. If you are waiting in the middle of the road, you can't see the traffic lights. There's no repeater beyond the island that you've passed.
I know exactly where you mean and what, but I can honestly say I've never had a problem there. You just wait until it's clear and then go. I don't think it's any different to any other traffic
Well, it's
light.
vastly different because of the actual layout of the road. We're not talking about two exact 90-degree junctions. We're talking about the Thetford one, which goes off at an angle, and so therefore you can't see that traffic very easily.
Okay, has anyone else got any,
I can back that up as a driver, that is definitely a very dodgy junction, and I have mentioned that to anyone who listened, there is no repeat on that second line.
oh, I know
To
you
anyone, but it is very dodgy to know when you've gone past it, whether the lights behind you are red or not, whether you can go. And you can't see, and the way the road is laid out, you really
Well,
can't see.
then I can only
Not very
assume
clear.
that you approach Norfolk County Council Highways.
Yeah, as we report to Highway. Madam Chair, gentleman behind his name, no. While you've been talking, your issue with the pedestrian crossing has just been reported on Fix My Street, so it's in the system there.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Could that be minuted, Chair?
Right, we're on to grants and donations. To consider donation application of £17,556 received from the Benjamin Foundation. I'm not quite sure where to start.
I do have accounts here, should anyone want to see their accounts, I didn't put them out, it's quite large.
Catherine?
If you look at the regulations for donation, we do need somebody from the Benjamin Foundation to be here to present this tonight. So could I ask that this is deferred until somebody could actually come and present it to us?
I agree.
And also it would give us a chance to see the accounts, because nobody's seen the accounts.
No, I think that's, everyone's happy that we asked them to come on to the next meeting, and we'll be a bit out of sync, but everyone's happy with that.
Let's reduce this meeting.
Chair, I just want to say that I think this is a good thing, and this actually ticks the box of providing a youth centre, and it's much needed, and I think it's something that we would not have to facilitate ourselves. I think it's a good thing. So I'd like to see us approve it.
Well, we'll be deferring it till the next meeting anyway. To consider donation application of £3,000 received from the Charlotte Harvey Trust. And who's Charlotte Harvey tonight?
You.
Well, I agree.
I have put accounts out for CHT,
I think, put it on public record, the reason for the request is because otherwise Charlotte Harvey can't meet all its bills. And the last thing on earth we want, whilst discussions are taking place with other groups, is to go bankrupt. Well, it wouldn't be very helpful at all. So I will formally propose that we
Do you
make
need
a
a second,
donation of
Garth?
£3,000.
All those in favour? Thank you.
I'm against.
Sorry?
I'm against.
You're against?
Yes.
Can I ask why?
Because we're asking, but I just don't think it's not sitting very well, to be fair. But that's my prerogative to be against, isn't
Oh,
it?
of course, yeah, I just thought it was a bit
No, that's fine.
strange.
That's my prerogative, so I'm against.
To consider grant application from Watton District Guide Association.
You should now have a sheet on the table with their recent accounts, because we didn't get that in time from the grant, but that was there. Those three.
Sorry, Sue.
Yeah, I think it's that we should support this because they have gone out and done benefits of fundraising. And it is quite a few youngsters from our, it's 44, it's 39 going, so I guess the other is the adults that will accompany them on. And I think as part of our caring about the youth, we should have been saying, yes, let's help and encourage, because it may well be that a lot of these children come in from families where they can't afford to get them a buddy to hatch. I mean, they've got to have it for their health and safety. I think we should approve that.
Anyone else got any thoughts on Stan?
Yeah, I'm sort of in support of it, Madam Chair, for very similar reasons. But what I would ask is if we are going to give them the money and some of it's going to be used on the hoodies, could we ask them to also have on the hoodies supported by Watton Town Council on the town logo?
But is there an additional cost to that? Or would it?
I don't know, it's why I say could we ask?
We could ask her.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that? Okay, do we have a proposal to accept it? Stan,
I'll propose
second, Sue, all those in favour? Thank you. That's it. Neighbourhood plan update. Sorry.
Can I just add that one of the things that, I don't know if it's on the budget paper that Jane prepared for you, but it was certainly in the minutes of the finance meeting. One of the areas that we're looking to increase is the grant section, because we're aware that there are more small groups perhaps that could benefit from a £500 grant within one. And so it's to actually get the money to more groups than we could with the allocation.
I agree with that, because there are some small charities that really could, I mean, £500 could
Makes
make
a lot of difference to
massive
small
difference.
groups. Yeah.
I've got shopping with it. I didn't say that out loud. Neighbourhood plan update.
Yes, originally, I was going to put before you a proposal for a recommendation for the neighbourhood plan. You are aware that we've been looking at the possibility of the market and everything, and the MTI are looking at, or we're looking at putting a feasibility study for the MTI on another side of the council. We were looking at the possibility of giving improvements, how the high street could be improved with the retail and commercial group. And locality were prepared to give us some work on that free of charge. So we looked at various options and how it could be worked out. And we decided on option one, which we were going to put to you today. However, in the meantime, locality changed their terms of reference. So what were options 2 and 3 can't now be done anyway. So the report that's gone to you in paper form, electronically, says what we put to locality, and the plan that they should come back should dovetail nicely with what the MTI feasibility study will be doing. So there is no recommendation because it's the only option now.
To consider plans for 2020 VE Day celebrations, thus far, I've spoken to the sports centre with a view to perhaps doing something jointly. They've got a large area that we could do something in. Outside if the weather's great, inside if it's not. They were very much in favour of that. I've also spoken to Paul Wetherall, who also seemed very keen. He suggested, I mean, I was thinking of a during the day thing, and it could be as well as, he suggested maybe having a dance of, 1940s type thing, maybe dress up and what have you. And he's also prepared to provide lots of vehicles, like World War II, etc., vehicles for the time. But we need to put something together. Obviously, we would be applying for a grant from Bretland, and hopefully we would be putting towards it ourselves. Stan, Tina.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for council to be mindful, because it is the set for the Friday, Saturday and Sunday that weekend. It's going to be that day all over the country, and if we want to book something, we've got to be quick.
That's, yeah, very mindful.
And our band, for example, have had lots of requests to be everywhere at 3 o'clock on the 8th, and we're not Santa.
Well, he manages.
He does, yeah, but it's just that if we are thinking about doing something, we've got to be quick on our toes to get it booked or lose it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of mentioning this now is we want to get a working group and get it going now. Tina?
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Have you approached Wendy Brown yet? Because she was, I did mention it to her.
You did, but
Yeah.
because we haven't actually got a working group, I mean, I've just made initial inquiries. In fact, when I was talking to Paul, Kyla said, oh, is that to do with VE Day? And I said yes, and she said she does a whole 40s set.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great as well. So that's another thing, but we need to get together.
Wendy does all the reenactments and has got a lot of connections, but because, as Stan has said, that there's a lot of people for any of these events, and that one will be like, you need to really book well in advance. So it might be that she suggested it could be down at the sports centre, maybe an afternoon tea, where you don't actually need to book anyone as such. You can just ask people to dress up if they've got anything and go along with the theme and have like a wartime tea.
Well, that's what I spoke to, got her name now, Melinda, and she was very keen, and just between the two of us, we were talking about all different things, because we, from, I think it was Peter, Catherine, and I think that was all at the time, we briefly spoke about we need to get something together, and then I spoke to her, and we were thinking that maybe if we could have a street party-esque, but without it being in the street, and maybe we could provide food free. Obviously, they'd be making money on the bar, you can't have that free, but we could possibly even do something along those lines, but then even have a dance in the evening as well, so it would be a whole day thing. Catherine?
We did talk about the involvement of Watton meeting as well.
Yes,
did you
we
speak
did.
to them about the possibility of the fund?
No, we've got a meeting on Thursday,
That's
so
another good event, isn't it?
Yeah.
To tie in.
yeah, so that's as far as we've got, but we do need to get a group of people together, so is there anyone?
Is Sue involved with that?
Yes, I had mentioned it to Sue, so we'd like to get involved. Tina?
Yeah, I'm happy to work on the working group for that.
Yeah, great. Tina, is that a yes from you? Or?
Yes, I know if I have time or free time, I will.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're like any of the other groups, if you can, then come along.
Yeah.
So, how soon do we need to, I mean, I know we do need it really soon, but this side of Christmas, or?
You've got to do something this side of Christmas.
Well, again, we're not doing it on the 5th, that's for sure. But 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or even 6th, that's all.
Third or fourth is okay with me.
Yeah, 3rd or 4th is okay with me. Can anyone else make that?
Can I bring Wendy
Yeah.
with me? I'll pick her up.
You can? Yeah.
And if you want Sue there Wednesday, something good for Sue.
Yeah, that'd be the 4th.
I'm assuming she'll
Did you do the 4th?
If you do it on the phone afternoon, I will be able to attend.
Sorry, on the 4th?
On the 4th, was it?
No, afternoon, anytime.
Okay, and are you okay for the 4th?
Yeah.
Peter, Catherine?
4th might be okay.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Stan? Sue?
So Wednesday.
Wednesday.
What do you say, 2 p.m?
If yeah. Is that after 10?
Yes, after 10.
Shall I confirm that with Sue and send something out?
Yeah.
Just in
I mean,
case
hopefully
she can't do it.
we can get quite a few people. If she can't, then maybe, because we're going to have to go on it quite quick. Some people will just have to dip in and out. That'd be great.
Okay.
If Wendy comes along, like in moderation,
Wednesday.
That's that then. So 2 o'clock on Wednesday the 4th.
Yeah.
You can dip in and out then. That's it for me. Planning. Jane.
Right, we've not got a great deal today, but there are some new ones that have come
I
in.
just don't mind normal thing, please.
Yeah. Fair enough. Goes without saying. The first one is 3PL 2019 13308 front porch extension at 14 Edinburgh Close. Any comments? Didn't think there would be. The next one is 3PN 2019005 3 PV, a solar photovoltaic system situated on the superstore roof. No, I can't. And the T-bell glued in well enough. Desco Superstore, Thetford Road. Any comments?
I think we should support it proactively and let it be known that
We do support.
it is something that the council will support.
Yeah.
And encourage others to do.
Is everyone happy with that? Supporting it? Yeah.
Jane also sits within our new climate awareness.
Yeah, it does. It sits in its sustainability and everything.
As did our paper cups at the farm run.
And now there are a couple more applications, one of which it doesn't need a response until the 12th. And as it's retaining the part of the garage as a beauty salon, I believe we shouldn't put that on this agenda in case the public wish to comment on it. So I would leave that one for the next meeting. The other one we have is simply an installation of a disabled ramp at the Methodist Church. And we can deal with that now. I think that's
I thought it
reasonable.
was probably quite straightforward.
Yes, I think that's straightforward. It's a 3PL 2019 1420, installation of a ramp access to the front and side doors to provide a suitable disabled access. Comments on it? No problem. Support that one?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next one. I don't understand why this has just suddenly arrived here when it was received on the 29th of October. It's quite confusing. It's not actually in our town. It's in Santoni area. I don't sure it comes under us. Yeah, this comes up, they put to discharge a planning obligation. But does that come under our town?
Not the same, no.
No, but it says location Watton.
Yeah.
But when I actually went on the website about it, it's 2015-0219 open space work specification. They are asking to vary and modify the discharge the condition completely. And I actually went on the website and made a private comment on it because I thought it was completely wrong. That definitely comes under sale, not under us, even though it says it's under Watton. But as a town council, would we want to make a comment on it?
No, I mean, what we've normally done in the past is we've supported the local village in what they have to say.
Right.
So whatever Sam said, we'll support that.
So if we look up Sam's views and support,
Yeah.
write and support them, okay? Then that's it, that's all I've got.
Pass a resolution to exclude the press and public to consider legal matters.
We haven't got any actually, we just put that on just in case you did have any.
We haven't.
Check me out.
Church service.
Churches Together Town Council Carol Service on the 8th of December. So it would be nice if some.
Sorry,
Yes, it's a town, well, it's Churches Together Town Carol Service. I'm speaking. I don't even know, when. Thank you.
And we do have, I don't know how people want to deal with this, Brendan's Foundation accounts, that they're rather large to copy out. I don't know if you want to take a look at them while you're here. Anybody?
I still see she's giving money to someone who's got more money than us.
I mean, that's it.
They've got
I
reserves
really
of
want to
£500
copy
million.
that out.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't a national reserve. As I read it,
Today was I just put the meeting there. Today was the day that the planning was ending.
Yeah.
So they wrote to say, so we haven't had application based on information provided. Blah, 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 blah. So the business should not operate limited from 9 till 6, Monday to Friday, and from 10 till Saturday and Sunday